when a guy comes to the center of the room, that means we all sit that quiet. Well, welcome to the University of Sioux Falls Media Day for women's basketball, men's basketball, and swimming. We're happy to have several student athletes here and the coaches representing each of the sports, and we'll go ahead and get started here. I want to welcome our worldwide audience. Once again, we are hosting this press conference over YouTube. We want to thank IT for their help in making this possible, and so this will be available for archival purposes later if you want to review it. So welcome, and everyone else, welcome here. I just want to please acknowledge a couple of people in attendance. Dr. Bradfield, President of the University, thanks for stopping by. We're always glad you're able to be here. Paul Eisnes, our board member, thank you for being here. We'd like to have you there. And then our Director of Athletics, Pam Gold, is also here, along with several members of our staff. Thank you all for everything that you guys do and helping with communications and so on. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and let's get started. We're going to open with women's basketball and Coach Travis Traphagen, whose team is coming off a 23-8 season a year ago. 23 wins, should have gotten into the playoffs a year ago, but it didn't quite get in there. It was quite a season, and they have everybody back. They were picked second overall in the NSIC women's division, and they were picked first in the South Division. Coach, if you want to come up and tell us about your team and how the season's gone so far, we'd appreciate it.
First, appreciate everybody coming. I'd like to start it by introducing, I have a new assistant coach, Carly Jeffrey. I think I do this every year and I introduce a new assistant. So anyway, Carly has been with us here since about July. Came from St. Cloud State, had 4 years of experience. So appreciate everything that she does. And in attendance, we also have a number of our players. We have a bigger senior class. It didn't start that way a couple years ago, but with some injuries and adding some transfers, we have seven. We have seven seniors here. So as much as I'm going to enjoy this year's press conference, next year, it's going to be different. Where we're going to have a lot of new faces as we go through. So like Dan said, our expectations are high. This year we had 23 wins a year ago, and the thing that probably made me most proud from a year ago was we addressed a lot of adversity. We had a number of injuries of kids, and it's kind of the next man up. We had a lot of kids step up, but we've got a couple of those kids back now as well. One of our seniors, JC Hinker, is back off a torn ACL. Our starting point guard, Hannah Jones, is back from ACL injury, and we actually had another one that happened kind of in the same calendar year, but Jasmine Harris, who was coming off an ACL the year before, just didn't quite heal as quickly maybe as she wanted to, and she's back. So I think if you flip years, it gave a lot of kids extra minutes last year and got valuable experience, and now getting these kids off injury and getting kids with more experience coming back, I think our expectations are high. I hear a lot about this is a veteran team, yeah, and I agree. There's veteran, but just because you're a veteran doesn't mean that you're going to be good. I mean, I'm big into saying, hey, we need to choose to get better each and every day, and that's the thing that I hope our kids would say. I've been fairly calm here, coaching this year, because I do feel like we have a lot of veteran leadership that they can take control of a lot of things, or just the expectations that they know that's part of our program. I think one thing that you would probably notice a little bit different about us this year than maybe a year ago is probably the pace that we're going to play at. Now, we've always tried to play fast and shoot tons of threes, but I mean, I think if you see us this year, we're pressing a ton, and I think we have a lot of kids. I mean, I really believe that we have probably 13 kids, 14 kids that we can play. Well, you can play 13 or 14 in a lot of games, so our way of hopefully extending minutes for people is trying to pick up the pace and press and doing a lot of things. And I think our kids have accepted the role and doing very, very well with that. Dan had made the comment, winning 23 a year ago. You know, a lot of times you hope 23 gets you into a regional, but we didn't. And, you know, we stubbed our toe on a couple games that we maybe shouldn't have. And, you know, being on the committee, on the RAC committee, it worked out the way it should have. We shouldn't have been in. I mean, we were definitely the number 9 and not the number 8. So what changes from last year to this year? Well, you know, I tried to beef up our schedule a little bit. We have early in the year a classic at our place where we're playing William Jewell and Chadron, but we're bringing in Emporia State on Tuesday, who is typically a top 10 team in the country, which is going to be very good. You know, the next night we play Southwest, which is a very good basketball team who beat us a year ago. And then the next day we leave for Hawaii. We're going for a week to Hawaii, so it's kind of fun to get back to our kids. And you know, I know they're talking a ton about it to have fun. I just want to win 3 games. I don't care about the beach, this, that. I want to make sure that we win games out there. And then we also added Truman State to our schedule, who won, I believe, 25 games last year and made the regional tournament. So I could go a long speech here, but like our goals are high. Deep down, I think that we all have the goal of potentially winning a South Division championship and potentially an overall. But I think there's a lot of teams in the Northern Sun that have a lot to say about that. I don't know if there's going to be one dominant team. One team that you got to give credit to is Moorhead. I believe that they've won the regular season championship the last 3 years. I believe so. I mean, when they're picked number 1, they should be until somebody knocks them off. But I've seen the quality of play. I don't think, you know, some years there's teams that are on the bottom that just aren't going to win games. You know, there might be a team or two that are rebuilding, but I really think from probably 13 all the way through number 1 on any given night, anybody can beat each other. So, you know, I just don't think it's as top heavy, you know, in this particular year as a lot of other years. So we're working hard. Every day we have an exhibition game on this Friday. Can't ever talk about scrimmages, this and that, what you've done before, but we do have an exhibition game against Waldorf this Friday. And a lot of Division II teams are playing this weekend. I know CJ will be up here talking soon. They play this weekend. I'm glad that, one, I wish I would have gotten an exam, but I also like to have an extra week of practice, getting ourselves ready. So we'll have Waldorf, and then next week is our game week, where we'll prep, and we open up with a classic here with William Jewell, Chadron State. We're bringing back one of my old assistants, and Bemidji State, where Chelsea DeVille is coaching that team. I'm sure my administrators are sitting here, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'm not sure that they were excited about me getting a classic on that weekend, because we got volleyball, we got football. We're definitely making our administrators work hard, so we appreciate you guys battling through that as well. But I don't know if we want to open up for questions or if anybody comes up. But again, you know, this is big for us. When we can have a media day and we can, you know, get things out on the World Wide Web. I mean, that's what recruiting is today. You know, so we greatly appreciate having a day like this, and I hope that we have a great year. We've got a special group of kids. You know, and nothing I want more for us is to be able to reach our goals and have a great year. It's one of those. The last year we went on a trip was in 15-16. You know, we won the conference championship that year. We got to go to Florida. We were ranked in the top 10 in the team GPA. It was just one of those magical years that I wouldn't change anything for. And, you know, for everybody that's sitting here, I don't want it to come across wrong, but my goals are exactly the same and nothing different. So, but that's going to take a lot of hard work, and I think we have the kids to be able to do that if we choose to get better each and every day. So with that, any questions? If not, I can turn it back over to Dan. Thanks.
Next up, we will bring up J.C. Hinker, who is a representative for the women's basketball program. She's a Elite 18 winner. She was on the all-defensive team 2 years ago, and she's back on the court this year. J.C., you want to talk about the team's goals and stuff?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Hi, everyone. As you said, I'm J.C. This is kind of weird without questions, so I'm just going to kind of repeat a lot of things that Trapp said. But first, I think the biggest thing is that it's kind of cool to be up here, and I never would have thought I would have been here. So I just want to thank Coach Trapp for letting me come back for my 5th year and getting to be here with these girls again. It's going to be a really great year, as you've kind of heard a little bit. We've got a super special group of girls, 7 seniors, which is crazy for our team because throughout my 4 years, we've really only had 1, maybe 2 seniors every year. So this is a really big group, and that just kind of shows how great TRAP's been doing with this program and getting girls to really stay around and want to make their 4 years great here. Like he kind of said, I think the biggest thing going in is that our goals are really high, and we say those things and we don't say them to be cocky, we don't say them just to write them up on a wall, but like we really truly think that this is going to be a really great year for our team, and we can get the conference championship and things like that if we work hard every day. And so being a 5th year and having been here in that year that Trap talked about, I'm the only one on the team that's gotten to win the conference championship. And so I think that I just want that so much for my teammates because I know how fun it is, and I know how great it gets to be when you get to go to the NCAA tournament and everything. And so that just gives me a little more motivation to help lead these girls in that way because I know they want it just as bad. I think what else that we really have to work on this year as our team is knowing our role. I think that, like Trap said, we do have 13 or 14 girls that can play on any given night. I think all the time we have probably 2 or 3 starting lineups that could win on any D2 team. And so I think the biggest thing for our team this year is finding our role and really embracing it because we're all going to have a lot different roles than we've had in different years. I mean, my role last year was sitting on the end of the bench and cheering, and now I get to be back and play. And so just really finding what role works for our team this year and embracing it because some of us might not get the same 40 minutes that we've gotten in the past, but I think that when we all find that and really work together, that's when we're going to be successful on any given night. I don't think there's a team that we can't beat if we really do play to our potential because the girls are incredible and they worked really hard to get here. And so I just think we're super excited for what this year has, and yeah, I don't know much else.
Next up, I want to bring up our head men's basketball coach, Chris Johnson, who the team's won 39 games in the last 2 years. They were 20-11 a year ago and had a super year. He comes into this year having lost a couple key members of it, several members of his team, large senior class a year ago. But we are really excited about the men's basketball program. Chris, if you want to come up and tell us about the team and expectations for that squad.
Sounds good, thanks. Just to reiterate what Trap said, thanks for showing up and listening to what we have to say. Let me be real clear, we are polar opposites of everything he just said. Our big trip this year, we're going to Aberdeen for a Thanksgiving tournament. Big deal. We graduated everybody last year and then have everybody in a new role this year. Like I was looking at the stats, I'm like, yeah, we have our 3rd leading scorer back from last year. We averaged 7 points a game for us last year. So, it's just a very different kind of feel. This team has been probably as much fun to coach. I was talking with Pam this morning about that as any team that I've been around. Partially because we're so new. Our old guys are sophomores. We have 2 seniors, Devin and Milan, and then Chase and Troy are kind of, Troy Houghton and Chase Greeny are kind of the next 2 in line, and they're both sophomores. And so sometimes coach has to remember that they're still young and have not played a ton and they're still learning. But they kind of have to act like older guys for our team. And so it's been a lot of fun. I don't know, like we don't have as many set goals as Coach Trap has because I don't really know who we are yet. And Devin's not hearing that for the first time. I tell our guys I'm pretty open and brutally honest with our guys. We're kind of still figuring that out. I can promise you we will not be pressing and trapping and shooting tons of threes. That is not something that we will be great at. Our game is going to basically be predicated on, last year we led the nation in rebounding at every level, and we're going to need to find a way to do that again. Defensively, we'll have to be really good, and then we'll score by committee. That's been the one thing that's been really obvious in practice is we don't have, we probably had 2 quote-unquote alphas last year, right? There were times where we could just not play well and go, hey, Drew, go get us a bucket, or Trey, go get us 5 in a row, or whatever. I don't think that's how it'll be wired this year at all. But this team is a far better passing team and plays together probably a little bit better. Now we just got to find some guys that are willing to pull the trigger when we get to those points, right? But it's been a fun year. I love where we're headed. We only lose 2 guys after this year. We have some really young guys that are going to play significant minutes and probably have to grow. Our ceiling is probably pretty high, but probably pretty distant, to be honest with you. You can see us getting better. every practice, every scrimmage. But I'm not totally sure what to think about going into this weekend. We play two really good, really athletic teams out of the MIAA. We're going to be a big basketball team in our starting lineup and a fairly small team when we go to the bench. So I'm interested to see how we handle. Lincoln is very athletic, Pitt State, very athletic. Will pressure us, we'll do some things that maybe we're going to learn about some of our guys over this weekend. So I don't really have any expectations for it. Anything that happens this weekend probably won't surprise me. But I have to reiterate, this team's been just awesome. And a lot of it has to do with Devin and Milan's leadership. You know, just understanding what we have to do and what they're going to need to do to help these young guys get to where we need them to be. We've focused really hard on not talking about those guys that aren't here anymore a lot though, because it's so easy. I think a couple of those guys will go down as good as probably as ever played here in some respects. In my opinion, for sure, but I don't want to offend anybody else because I didn't watch us play in 1930. There's so many jokes I could go with there. I'm going to just bypass all of them. But we're just really kind of focused on what we have to do and what we have to do to get better every day. And I really appreciate the effort that they're giving us. And really excited about this year and the next couple years of where we can be with this young group. I will say this, I know that it's really annoying when coaches talk about how young their teams are, because I do it. I get frustrated with other coaches because it's our choice to be young, right? But we are. We've got some talented young guys, and they're going to learn on the fly a little bit. So everybody that knows me knows I'm really patient, so that shouldn't be an issue at all. But you know, that's something that we're working on daily. That is for sure. So, any questions or anything, or? Thank you.
Next on the docket is one of the seniors on the men's basketball team, one of the real leaders of the squad. Devin Green, you want to come up and tell us about team's expectations and how practices have gone and what you look forward to this year?
Sure. A lot of what I'll have to say is kind of exactly what Coach Johnson had to say, but yeah, we bring in a lot of new pieces this year, and even if it's not like new faces, it's returners that are coming in and definitely stepping into new roles in the team. I agree with Coach on how fun every day has been playing with everybody and getting the opportunity to be coached by Coach Johnson, Coach Nelson, Coach Maxwell. Getting in every day with everybody and getting better, and like Coach said, we're young, so every day you see improvements. Whether it be from an individual basis or a team basis, you see everybody getting better. You see pieces start fitting, especially now to where we get to 2 days before our first game, we're starting to get pieces moving towards where they need to be, especially on like the defensive and rebounding side of basketball where we need to be really good this year. Yeah, I think practices have gone great. Scrimmages the past 3 weeks have been good. We really need to find, like Coach was mentioning yesterday, a level of competitiveness between everybody. Bring in a lot of new guys or faces that haven't been at Sioux Falls or been in the NSIC, don't know like what it takes to win on an every night basis for the level of competition that they go up against every night. So finding that, along with getting everybody to fit together, is really something that we're working towards and we're getting better at. I can't express how much fun I've had here and being a fourth-year guy. With everybody, and really excited and looking forward to getting going in the season.
Okay, from round ball we go into the pool, right, Coach? I want to introduce second-year head coach Chris Hamstra, who in his first year here helped the team lead the team to a third-place finish in the NSIC championships were held at the Midville Center last spring. And so, Chris, if you want to come up and talk about, the one thing about swimming is they've actually started their season, so, but they're off to a quick start. They've got some national rankings, and of course they've done some really great things in the past several years since the program started 3 years ago. Chris, come on.
This is new, swimming at media day. This is not something we're used to. So I want to give you a brief snapshot of our 3.5-year history. 2 years ago, in our second year, this program was Scholar All-Americans as a team, both semesters. And spring semester had the highest GPA in the country, right here. Finished third in the Northern Sun and top 25 in NC2As. Last year, we were Scholar All-Americans as a team, 2 semesters. Had 5 individual Scholar All-Americans, third at NSICs, and top 20 at NC2As. So this year, we have seniors. This is exciting. We have a senior class. We've got 4 girls that are going to graduate. I feel like we're really hitting our stride now. We can be especially dangerous in those dual meets and have a full roster. So far, I don't know what's going on. We're just really humming along. I'm along for the ride here. We're 6-0. We have several ladies ranked top 10 in the country in their events. Several relays in top 10. We currently have the #1, #2 flyer in the country. College Swim Coaches Association ranks us 14th in the country. CollegeSwimming.com power ranks us at number 8 in the country. So we're doing all right. One thing that we changed from last year is we're actually doing less dual meets and more competitions back-to-back days, helping prepare us for those conference championships, for NC2A championships, get us ready to handle those back-to-back championship formats. But about us, we're all about being elite. Everything we do needs to be elite. Our strength coaches are elite, our athletic trainers are elite, our facilities are elite. The team is elite. They're having great success, and that's because of the culture of these young women. It's a culture of hard work and family. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the family that all coaches are going to preach to you and try to sell you on. We have girls from 9 different countries and 10 different U.S. states. We have different backgrounds, different cultures, different living situations, different upbringings. We have a lot of different views on a lot of different things. We don't always agree, and I believe that's a good thing. It challenges us to grow as individuals. But what we do have, and what makes us unique, is this family atmosphere where when push comes to shove, when it really matters, these girls know that the program, the team, and the school has their back, always. So individually, they all came here to USF with different goals and dreams in mind, different areas of study, different college experience expectations, different swim goals, from chasing Olympic cuts to national teams, to scoring at the NCAA championships, or just going to best time. And what's happened so far is they've all united behind those goals together. Getting a premier education and having the devotion to feed our culture. We want to be and are growing to be the national swimming powerhouse right here in Sioux Falls. So Saturday, the 9th, at Midco Aquatic Center, come watch us take down D1 UNO. That's all I got. Thank you guys.
Come on.
Superstar.
We now have our final person of the docket, and it's Leah Eagleton, who is a senior on the swim team. Leah, why don't you come up and tell us about the coach of your team, coach talked about it, and how exciting this season has started, and how you look forward to the rest of it.
So yeah, like Coach Chris said, we want to be a really powerful swimming team in D2 nationally. This year has really pushed the whole team to be better. I know, like from what Chris just said, our biggest goal this year is to come together as a family, especially training so much. We train 20 hours a week, so it's kind of hard if you're not all on the same page. I believe our team are like real big underdogs. I hear everyone talking about how hard they train, and I'm like, yes, but we train 5 o'clock every morning. Like, we're there at the pool, putting in hours. Like, no one's complaining, no one's crying. Like, we want to be there, we want to win. And I think coming out 6-0 is a real big statement. Like, we took down Mankato for the first time in our program's history, and I was really proud to be there and be a part of that. And to take down UNO this weekend would just be amazing for us because we could have beaten them last year, but we didn't. So I just think that all of us together, it's not such an individual sport when you look at swimming from a team perspective, especially at collegiate level here in America, because you have to band together to win, I guess. I don't really know what else to say. Swimming, it seems like an individual sport, but it's really not. You have those relays, everyone's scoring points, so you can win as a team. No one goes into a dual meet thinking, oh, I want to win the 200 free, or I want to win the 100 back. It's like, I want to win so we can get points so our team can win. And I just don't think we could make it through 6 months of training 20 hours a week without a whole team. So,
Thanks, Dave. Well, I think I want to applaud our student athletes for coming up here and talking and speaking about their program with passion and energy. I really appreciate that. Coaches, thank you for coming over. And thanks all of you, members of the media. We really appreciate your coverage, and we welcome you to any of our events. We have some starting this weekend, beginning with the exhibition with women's basketball, and of course swimming is on Saturday as well at the Midco Aquatic Center. And we have women's basketball the following weekend, but also men's basketball. They play Dakota State on Saturday night, along with football and volleyball. We have a busy set of schedule going ahead. Now we will close this press conference and welcome the media to stay and ask questions of our student athletes and coaches. And again, we thank you all for coming, and goodbye.